You can be the greatest, you can be the best. You can be King Kong banging on your chest. You can beat the world, you can beat the war. You can talk to God, go banging on his door. You can throw your hands up, you can beat the clock. You can move a mountain, you can break rocks. You can be a master, don't wait for luck. Dedicate yourself and you'll find yourself standing in the Hall of Fame. And the world's gonna know your name, 'cause you burn with the brightest flame. And the world's gonna know your name, and you'll be on the walls of the Hall of Fame.
Everybody has these dreams and aspirations of doing these fantastic things, and the Hall of Fame holds all those.
It helps keep motorcycling alive and makes names and heroes out of the people that have dedicated their lives to making this sport go.
Everybody in the Hall of Fame's contributed something to the better of motorcycling.
We forget all this types of racing there was and how the motorcycles have progressed, would just think it's like it is now, with wonderful motorcycles that have electric starters and don't weigh anything and have 6 gears and never break down.
I think the Motorcycle Hall of Fame is important to have a place to go, to learn about the history of the sport and to find inspiration.
But that history is so important to our sport. We have so many people that we need to be thankful for, and it's important for the generations to come to know the sacrifices that these guys made.
I'd like to think that in 40 years' time, somebody looked up my name and said, oh, I remember, reading about that guy.
The people that I've met, the places I've been able to go, the John Pentons, the Malcolm Smiths, that's what really makes the motorcycle business, the sport, the industry interesting.
I think it's a good way of letting the future know that we existed and what we did.
I think it's important to know why our sport got to where it is, and you don't forget.
Hall of Fame keeps that history alive.
So I hope they keep growing this Hall of Fame and make it better and better as time goes on.
Of the Hall of Fame.
Please welcome your hosts for tonight's ceremony, Lorette Nickel and Perry King.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the 2023 AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
You want to cheers? Perry, it's so great to be back on stage with you, and I know I'm a big fan of yours. Yeah, of course. I think you've emceed the Hall of Fame for something about 14 years now.
I don't know. That's something like that. They say 14, I guess, but seriously, Lorette, every ceremony is very special, every single one, and tonight is no exception, as we gather to honor each of these inductees for their role in shaping the legacy of motorcycling.
To get our evening started tonight, I'd like to introduce and welcome the President and CEO of the American Motorcyclist Association, Rob Digman, please.
Welcome, everyone, to the 2023 AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame induction ceremony. We're truly delighted to gather here in Pickerington, Ohio, home of both the AMA headquarters and the AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame, to celebrate this historic occasion. Unlike some previous years, this year's inductees have the privilege of personally experiencing the hallowed grounds where they will forever be immortalized and celebrated as honored members of the Hall of Fame. Year after year, it has been our honor to pay tribute to the most accomplished and influential figures in the world of motorcycling through a very special AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame induction celebration. But this event is far more than a banquet and ceremony designed to honor the remarkable individuals who have made significant contributions to our beloved sport. It also serves as a unique opportunity for us to unite in our shared mission of safeguarding motorcycle history for generations yet to come. In this regard, the Hall of Fame remains a vital component in the preservation, promotion, and protection of the motorcycle lifestyle and its rich history, a mission that lies at the very core of the AMA's existence. It is essential to recognize that the American Motorcycle Heritage Foundation, which oversees the Hall of Fame, operates as a charitable organization. While it is our ultimate goal for the AMHF and the Hall of Fame to be self-sustaining through generous tax-deductible donations, the truth remains that the majority of its activities are supported by the AMA and its loyal dues-paying members. In addition to expressing our heartfelt gratitude to our dedicated AMA members for their unwavering support, I personally extend my thanks to each one of you in attendance tonight. You are some of the strongest supporters of the Hall of Fame. While we are gathered together tonight, we also want to share something very special with all of you. The AMA was founded in 1924 and will celebrate 100 years of operation in 2024. As we prepare for a year-long celebration, we are proud to share with all of you the first look at our very special 100 Years logo. You may have seen it on Perry's jacket earlier as well. Looking back at our 100 years of history, it is both exhilarating and humbling to see what the AMA, backed by its incredible members, has accomplished over the past century. But now, we're prepared to move forward, stepping into the next 100 years with new opportunities to deliver our mission, protecting and promoting the motorcycle lifestyle. Of course, we cannot do that without you. I would like to ask all of you to please encourage your family, friends, and coworkers to join the AMA and support the Hall of Fame. To join the AMA, they can go to americanmotorcyclist.com/join, or to donate to the Hall of Fame, they can visit americanmotorcyclist.com, then navigate to the support section under the Hall of Fame menu. They can easily make a tax-deductible contribution to the 501c3 organization that funds the Hall of Fame. Every donation, regardless of its size, makes a meaningful impact. To all of you gathered here tonight, and those watching on the live stream, I extend my deepest gratitude once again for your unwavering dedication to the Motorcycle Hall of Fame and the AMA. And to the distinguished members of the Hall of Fame class of 2023, congratulations on this well-deserved honor. Please enjoy tonight's ceremony, and thank you.
Thank you, Rob. And thank you for letting us have a sneak peek at what's coming as we all celebrate that 100th anniversary of the AMA in 2024.
So before we go on and introduce our inductees, Perry, let's take a minute to review just how the Hall of Fame inductees are selected.
Good. First, nominations to the Hall of Fame originate from 8 categories, including ambassadors in industry, design and engineering, leadership and rights, and competition in flat track, off-road, AMA supercross and motocross, road racing, and specialty competition. Experts in the motorcycling community serve on one of 8 category committees. Among them are historians, journalists, industry leaders, current Hall of Fame inductees. They review submissions and they recommend candidates for nomination. The nominating committee then reviews the recommendations and selects nominees for the ballot.
So who gets to vote on the nominees?
I will tell you. The answer is Hall of Fame members. The members of the category committees and their advisors, AMA and AMHF board members, and AMA life members with at least 25 consecutive years of membership.
So as you can see, the result is a well thought out and transparent process that involves many people. Some of them are here with us tonight, so let's give them a round of applause for their time and their energy.
Now, sadly, a number of Hall of Fame members have passed away since we last gathered in 2022. So let's take a moment to remember them now.
AMA Hill Climb champion Earl Bowlby.
Parts Unlimited founder Fred Fox.
Dirt track racer Ronnie Rawl.
Motorcycle racer, TV producer, and filmmaker Peter Starr.
Let's pause for a moment in honor of these legendary motorcyclists who have passed. Well, we'll miss these remarkable Hall of Famers. Their accomplishments will live on forever.
You're so right, Lorette. We were reminded by them of the determination and dedication that lands a select few men and women at the top of their class. Each has found the strength, the courage, the sheer grit and fortitude to face down any obstacle, whether in competition, industry, the halls of government, or in the court of public opinion.
Tonight, the AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame celebrates 5 new inductees. Each has achieved excellence in his or her discipline or field, and all have inspired us to do the same. As a special surprise tonight, in addition to the Hall of Fame rings, each inductee will also be presented with a very special Hall of Fame gold jacket. So now, it is with great pleasure that we introduce the AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame Class of 2023. Showing his racing prowess on both the American and world racing circuits, Grant Langston proved to be an annual contender to pick up championships.
As the only racer to win a World Motocross Championship, an AMA Motocross Championship, and both AMA Supercross Regional Championships in the 125-250cc classifications, Langston's strong competitive career has led him to the AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame.
At 15 years old, Langston moved from his home country of South Africa to Europe to begin his professional racing pursuits. Just 2 years after the move, Langston secured the 2000 FIM 125cc World Motocross Championship.
As a result of his success on the international stage, Langston inked a deal to compete on the AMA Supercross circuit in 2001. Langston added his first race win that same year before claiming the AMA 125 National Championships 2 years later.
In 2005 and 2006, Langston became the first rider to win both regional 125-250cc Supercross championships. 1 year later, Langston clinched the AMA 450 Pro Motocross Championship, snapping AMA Motorcycle Hall of Famer Ricky Carmichael's 7-year hold over the circuit.
Unfortunately, Langston's career was cut short after a tumor was found in his eye during the 2008 season, causing Langston to experience vision problems. Since his retirement, Langston has opened his own multi-brand motorcycle dealership and served as a race commentator.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Grant Langston.
Presenting the ring, the Hall of Fame ring to Grant tonight is Hall of Famer Mark Blackwell. Please.
Mark. Thank you, buddy. Grant Langston, in recognition of winning a World Motocross Championship, both AMA Supercross Regional Championships, and a Pro Motocross National Championship, it's a great honor to induct you into the AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame.
Well, it's always nice to be the first one up here. Make me the first one to cry. Whew. Didn't take long. Wow. Growing up in South Africa, this was something I'd never thought about. To be honest, I didn't even know about the AMA or the Hall of Fame back then. But as a lifelong dream of being the best racer I could be, it took us around the world, and my family, sacrificed a lot. We had a lot of great memories, but there were some tough times. Just being broke, being lost, me not qualifying for GPs, and my dad just sticking it out with me, and it took a lot. He gave up everything for me, and I'm very thankful. Motocross has brought me so much. It's obviously brought me here to this beautiful country. I've met a lot of great people. A lot of you sitting in the crowd. I know a lot of you actually really wanted me to get into the Hall of Fame, so you know who you are. Thank you very much. It truly means a lot. A real lot. My hero growing up, Greg Albertine, actually was the one that congratulated me the other day, and my hero's not in the Hall of Fame, so it really is humbling. I want to thank again everyone that nominated, voted, and has supported me throughout my career. It really has been those people that help me get there and keep it going. After moving to America, I was fortunate to come over with a great team with KTM and get to race a friend of mine now who's also being inducted, Travis, and that was some great memories. It's hard to see in the lights, but no, there's Travis. So, it was really cool to come over here and start competing at the highest level. And then I had the fortunate opportunity later in my career when I was getting ready to retire. I was in the area, and I actually got to go and see the AMA Hall of Fame. And it was at that moment it kind of hit me that said, it would be a dream to be in here. I was looking on the walls and just seeing all the people I idolized and all the memories and going through there, just being took me back to my childhood memories of watching a lot of those guys, and then even knowing the guys before them. So to have my name being put up there, it truly is surreal. So I also want to congratulate all the other nominees this evening. Travis and I actually go way back. A lot of people don't even know this, but he came to South Africa on 80s when he was 12 years old. So we had our first battle before we were even teenagers, and it went on for a while until he decided to go on and do bigger and crazier things. So congrats, Travis, you deserve it. Ryan, you've just been not only an incredible rider, very solid. You got the nickname the Diesel, but I think one thing people respect too is just what a great human being you are on and off the track. So you're very deserving, of course. Rita Coombs, I like to call Rita the godmother of two-wheel off-road. Her and the whole Coombs family have just done incredible things for our sport and the industry. And with elevating the sport, it made people like myself want to be here at the highest level competing. So congrats. And then Barry, congratulations. Barry and I don't know each other very well, but I've watched a lot of the highlights of what he's done, and what he was able to do was seriously incredible. I have a ton of respect for those guys. They're in such great shape, and they ride the nastiest terrains ever. So very deserving. I might be a little bit biased, but I think this is a really cool group, and it's nice that I've got some of my friends up in here as well. I won't keep it much longer. I'm very humbled, I'm very honored, and I'm very thankful. And I just want to thank especially my family. Not all my family could be here tonight. I think they were trying to figure out how to watch it. My mom's a little challenged with technology, so hopefully you're watching, Mom. I know a lot of the family is. To everyone else, again, thanks. This is truly, I'm lost for words. I wanted to write a speech, but then I realized I can't read or write. No, I'm kidding. I'm not good at reading speeches. I like to go off the cuff, and I knew I'd probably go off left field at some point or lose it. So I'm glad I got that out of the way. Thank you for listening to me ramble. I really appreciate it. This is really cool, and I'm stoked to have my name a part of the legacy. It's really neat. Thank you.
I know there's so much going on.
Yes.
Can I put this jacket on you?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's do that. I'm going to stand behind you, okay? Oh, and don't worry, he's not done. He's going to get in the hot seat with me for a few minutes. I know. There's a lot going on. Can you remember walking into the El Cajon offices in 2002 at KTM? Yep. And now you're walking into the doors here as a Hall of Famer. Grant Langston, look at that jacket. You look great. All right, you know what? Just as the crown, where's your ring? Show everyone your ring. Okay, you're gonna sit here. So, that is on.
Thank you.
I know you know how to use that. Grant, amazing. What an amazing story and moment for you to get here. And so we had rehearsals earlier today, and I got to ask Grant, what was the first memory that you have of when you fell in love with motocross? And you told me the best story, and I would love for you to recount that for everybody.
It was actually one of my dad's friends. He had bought it was actually a QR50, which I don't even think they brought into this country. But it was an old little Honda in the garage, and we would go over there sometimes. Rugby is a big thing in South Africa, so we'd get these gatherings to watch the rugby, like a barbecue, and we call it a braai. And anyway, I'd always see this bike there, and the kid never rode it. And I would say, like, hey, Uncle Rob, can I ride it? And they were like, yeah, one day we'll take it out. Well, you can ride. Well, I kept bugging them, my dad and Uncle Rob, and then eventually they were like, all right, we've got to shut this kid up. Let's just go to the track for a few minutes and get out of the way. So we went to this BMX track on a dirt bike, and then I fell in love. I just remember thinking it was just so much fun. I'd never done anything like it, and I think I picked it up pretty quickly. And so I enjoyed it, because then it was trying to go faster, then wanting to get a little bit of air and all that. And eventually they were like, all right, we have to leave. Like, we've been here, I don't know how long it was. We were there for a fair bit of time, and it was meant to be like a few minutes. So they come to load it up, and I wouldn't get off the bike. So my dad rolls it up in the back of the truck, straps it down, and we went back home. And I was sitting on the bike with my head over the top of the cab, blowing in the wind. But that was the 80s. You couldn't get away with that in America nowadays. But I remember riding home in the back of the truck, sitting on it, and they just couldn't get me off it. And, we came from pretty humble beginnings, but I drove my dad up the wall to buy it. Not that it was a great bike, but it was the only thing I'd ever touched or ridden. And long story short, my dad did buy it off him. I don't remember the price, but it was pretty cheap. And then we decided we were going to go try a local race, and went to a club event, and I got clubbed. I mean, I got lapped twice, and it was pretty pathetic.
Oh.
I wasn't listening when they said, when you wave the yellow flag, you can't pass. I thought they meant the fallen rider, so I just stopped and waited for everyone to get up. So I got dead last, but I think my dad was pulling his hair out, but then it quickly escalated from there.
Well, obviously quickly escalating, because at 15 years old, you left South Africa to begin your professional career in Europe. And what was that like?
It was a big change. It was a big culture shock. And I think looking back, nowadays, I feel like with the internet and phones and everything, you can research stuff, everything. We got there, I was pretty naive and blind to it, but it was definitely a culture shock. I went from being the big fish in the small pond to the guppy in the huge pond. So that was a little getting used to, and the weather, the different language of food. We were pretty much flat broke. So it was definitely tough in the beginning, but it's those tough times that really help you enjoy the good times, you know. So my rookie year was definitely a tough season. I mean, I didn't even qualify for a couple Grand Prix at the beginning. But then by the end of the season, I got a top 10. And I've never seen my dad so happy for an 8th place finish in my life. And we were jumping around like we had won the GP. And funny enough, that's when KTM approached me for the following year.
Oh, okay. Well, after KTM, I think before KTM, you won the FIM World Championship in 2000, and then you came and jumped straight into the Supercross, like one of the world's most prestigious racing series in the world. So coming into KTM, coming into Supercross, how do you even put that experience into words?
I think sometimes maybe I didn't always think everything through, which was probably a good thing, because I think when I was younger, I always had this, I'll figure it out, I can do it, sure. I'll get it done. And it was definitely a learning curve. I think at the time, KTM with not having a linkage wasn't the most friendliest thing in the whoops. I mean, they've obviously come a long way, but you know, in the beginning, it was a steep learning curve. But I kind of enjoyed the challenge, you know, even though I had some trials and tribulations, I enjoyed the process, and I was always kind of driven and motivated, and I slowly was getting better and better. And then fortunately, a funny story actually, when I signed with Mitch Payton, he actually said, it was a 2-year deal, and it was like, he's like, just win me an outdoor title, I'll be happy. I'm like, don't you worry, I get you. I didn't win a motocross championship, but I won back-to-back Supercross championships. And he's like, I hired you to win the outdoors. But I ended up getting injured both years outdoors, unfortunately. But yeah, it was nice to get that validation, you know, and get those titles because, you know, a lot of times I think people thought, oh, well, the foreigners or the European guys aren't good at Supercross. So, you know, I also had a little chip on my shoulder, and I wanted to. I mean, I always rode with a chip on my shoulder, to be honest. So that was fun.
Why do you think that was, the chip on your shoulder?
I think a lot of it was, I was never ever like the favorite coming into a series usually.
Really?
Yeah, like even 01, everyone was telling me how Travis was going to kick my ass.
Oh.
And I was like, I've raced him. I know like where he's at. We're close. Like it's going to be good. But most people were like, oh, you have no hope in hell. So I really, as a professional, was never the favorite. In the GPs when I won, there were 3 other riders that were, you know, the guys to beat. And yeah, even in Supercross and outdoors and then, you know, even in 2007, I don't think only a crazy man would have bet on me at the beginning of the year.
Well, that's the amazing part, because in 2007, you clinched the championship. And that really stands out because he was the one to end Hall of Famer Ricky Carmichael's 7-year champion streak. I mean, what stands out to you about that season?
That season, well, thanks for retiring, Ricky, because that helped a lot. Ricky was just sensational, what he did in his career. I mean, just mind-boggling, those numbers. But 2007, it was, believe me, it was a tough year personally. I was new to Yamaha, and we were, you know, struggling with some setup stuff. And then there was an issue we had with the gearbox, and it caused me to have a crash and get injured. So I missed most of Supercross. And then I think because I wanted to get back racing and obviously make your sponsors happy and do all that. Hindsight, I think I should have just sat out the last few rounds of Supercross and got fully dialed in and focused for motocross. But instead, we went back to Supercross, tried to get the bike better, and then all of a sudden, motocross came upon us. And again, I struggled. I mean, I think if you look at the points, I think I was 6th in points at the halfway mark. But then things started clicking. We got some new parts, we got a new chassis and things. And the last 5 races of the year were just incredible. Like, just I was so happy and so excited, and knowing that championship, that little carrot was being dangled, and I could see it. It was a really, really cool way to come on fire and win that title in the end.
Yeah.
Especially from how far back I came. So I had basically not even considered the championship halfway through. Like someone said, I think you could still win this. I would have laughed at them. And it happened. So anything can happen, right, in our sport.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. And it's amazing because this guy never gave up. And that was part of the amazing thing of watching your career and watching how hard that you always fought. And I feel like you've done that even after your career, because it mentions that in the brochure that in 2008, Grant was forced to retire because of an eye cancer diagnosis. But you've reinvented yourself, and it's so exciting to see, and I'd love for you to tell everybody how you did that.
Well, that was a big, it was a big, not so much scare, it was just a real wake-up call. I thought I just scratched my lens or I had something going on, and eventually the doctor said, because I'm like, well, can we sort this out? I need to go racing. And eventually he said, yeah, we can sort it out, but we got to sort it out properly. You're dealing with cancer, and this is not about getting back on the bike. This is about your life. And when he said that, it kind of hit hard, and then I thought, well, I'll be all right? We'll go racing. And he's like, eh. And long story short, from the radiation or that treatment, my eye has been slowly dying, and I lost a lot of vision. In fact, I think I need to go get glasses right now, because even my other good eye, I'm doing this now, how I used to make fun of my parents. Because it happened suddenly, I think for a lot of riders, you have a bit of a retirement strategy. This kind of blindsided me, excuse the pun.
Everyone got nervous, like, should I laugh at that or not?
You can laugh, trust me.
It's okay, guys.
And then, so after that, it was a little bit of a shock. And then the first thing that sort of happened was I had parents asking me if I'd coach their kids. And that seemed like a relatively easy kind of fit to get into something like that. I feel like I'm pretty good at describing like what you need to do or not do. And I did that for a little while. It wasn't the most fulfilling thing for me. It just felt like I was passing time in a sense. And then ended up getting asked to manage a KTM-backed race team. And I did that. And I forget the details, but I think it might have been you, Bitus. You were sick or missed your flight and couldn't come to Steel City. And I think Kerry Joe asked if I could hop on the live mic. And I was like, yeah, sure. Because anyone that's been a team manager knows you wear those headsets and no one shuts up. And it drives me nuts. So I was like, cool, I got an excuse to take them off and talk. And I was just rambling on the whole day. And then Kerry Joe said, you're going to be my announcer one day. And I didn't take it seriously. I thought, okay, cool, thank you. And then I think it was only about a year later, or a year and a half later, I get a call. Would you like to be the voice of motocross? And I was, well, they said, would you be interested in this position? And I thought about it, and I was like, wow, that's actually quite a big honor.
Yep.
So that was kind of cool. Commentating or announcing wasn't anything that I ever planned on. I guess I'd never really thought about it. But the cool thing was when I was racing, I've had my family in my corner the whole time, and my dad said to me, in the early stages, he said, you can't race forever. So you need to start planning, at least financially now, so that when you retire, you're not, screwed type thing. So we started our family business, and that was great because that my parents were growing that while I was still racing. So by the time I stopped racing, we had this business that was growing year after year, and then obviously I've dabbled in a few things, but the TV I think is what a lot of people remember me past racing. They either remember me as a dirt bike rider or an announcer. But It's been really cool what the sport has brought and given basically back to me and my family. I talked about the struggles, but it's nice to see my family are being able to retire and they're comfortable, and we got a family business that's going great. And then I've just also decided to kind of calm it down a little bit, with traveling and doing other things. But then as I did that, I bought a sandwich shop just for fun. Just because I like the sandwiches.
Wait, where?
Ian's a fan. Ian Harrison, he's been there.
Where's the sandwich shop?
It's in Murrieta.
It is?
Where all the cool kids live.
Oh, Kurt and I will have to go.
Yes.
That's fun.
Yeah, so it's a little different. I've never done any. I was laughing. I said, I raced dirt bikes, sold dirt bikes, and talked about dirt bikes. And now I'm in sandwiches. So a little left field, but it's
amazing.
It's kind of fun.
I love that. You know what I also love for you? As you're sitting here in your gold jacket with your Hall of Fame ring on your hand, I'm wondering what are the emotions that you're processing as a brand new Hall of Famer?
Well, it feels like a bit of a blow right now, to be honest. That's why when I walked up, like, I didn't know how I was going to handle it. I mean, I've gotten a little emotional before at championship, like AMA championship events, like in Vegas and wherever. And I thought there was a chance I'd end up in tears, but it like just hit me, you know, when I walked up there. And I think I'm the kind of person I try to not think about this moment until I'm sitting there and the music comes on, then it all hits me. And the reason I try not to think about it is because I wouldn't have slept the last few months.
Right.
Like, I'll just lay there in my brain, I don't know, I can't shut it off sometimes. So I tried not to think about it. But then when everyone else says, how excited are you? I'm like, I'm excited, but I'm nervous, anxious, you know, like all of those emotions. But it is cool. Also nice to have, like I said, my dad came with, great, love having him here. And then my son, Devin, who, when I said, hey, Bud, would you like to come? He didn't hesitate. He said, hell yeah. And then he's excited to see the museum. And also I want to wish him a happy birthday. It's Devin's 19th birthday tomorrow.
Happy birthday, Devin.
Happy birthday, big guy. I love you.
Aww. Grant, you have lived an extraordinary, really interesting and fantastic life. Congratulations again on your induction. Ladies and gentlemen, Grant Langston.
Thank you, thank you.
I'm so happy for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'll take that. You want to? Oh, wait. I'm going to give you your...
Regardless of whether he was on 2 or 4 wheels, Barry Hawk displayed a multi-disciplined racing ability that few could emulate.
An 8-time AMA Grand National cross-country champion, Hawk cemented himself as one of the greatest off-road competitors the sport has ever seen. With his versatile skill set, Hawk's racing accomplishments have led him to the AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame.
After beginning his racing pursuits at local county fairs, Hawk moved up to the professional ranks in 1990, and he took just 3 years to claim his first GNCC ATV championship in 1993. Now, from that point forward, Hawk ripped off 6 additional titles, finishing a stretch of 7 consecutive championships from 1993 to 99.
Hawk also emerged as the 2003 GNCC Bike Champion, becoming the only rider to win both GNCC championships in the ATV and motorcycle classes. Showing his versatility, Hawk also competed in AMA National Enduro and Reliability. I don't know what's happening, I'm nervous. In AMA National Enduro and Reliability Enduro events, and the International 6 Days Enduro in 2003.
Hawk now serves as the team manager for the Coastal Gas Factory Racing Team, where he has helped racers to wins in several GNCC events.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Barry Hawk.
Presenting the Hall of Fame ring to Barry tonight is Hall of Famer Terry Cunningham.
Barry Hawk, oh boy. In recognition of your 8 AMA Grand National Cross Country Championships in both ATV and motorcycles, it is our great honor to induct you into the AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Can I put this jacket on you before you do the speech? Is that all right? That way you have the whole ensemble. Looking good, Barry.
Wow. Just wow. This is amazing. I'm so honored and thankful to be here. Thank you to everyone here. Thank you to everyone that voted for me. It truly means a lot. When I was about 4 years old, I would hear my dad's dirt bike start up, and I would take off running to the garage and jump on because I knew we were going riding. I would just sit in front of him and hang on to the crossbar. I'm sure it wasn't the safest thing, but I just loved riding. I loved it so much that things progressed, and I finally got a mini bike and rode the wheels off of that thing. I still have some scars from it, but I loved it. Then I finally stepped up and got an XR75. I rode the wheels off of that thing. Then it got to the point where I was going to go race it at the local county fair. Ironically enough, that race was put on by Rita and Dave Coombs. A huge thank you to both of them for having the vision to put on these races, whether it's a local county fair race, a GNCC, or a national motocross race. They've made my life better and so many other races as well. So thank you to Rita, Dave, Carrie, Timmy, and Davey. Appreciate it. So after that, after the local county fair race, I continued to ride anything I could just because I love that freedom. So at the age of 16, I finally got a new machine, an ATV. Just like all the other machines I had, I rode the wheels off of it, and I remember talking my parents into going GNCC racing. Things went okay for the first 2 seasons, and by my 3rd season, I had moved up to the pro class. Things were going decent until we got to the John Penton GNCC. I got the whole shot and led from start to finish to win my first overall at just 18 years old. Such an incredible day that I'll never forget. That led to a pivotal phone call from Tony Kellner. Tony was well known in the ATV world for having the best equipment, so I signed up with Tony to race that 93 season. Before we knew it, we started knocking off win after win and got that first championship in 93, which continued all the way up until 99. It was a great run of 7 consecutive championships. So huge thank you to Tony and Becky Kellner. Also, that 93 season I started racing on Sunday just to get better for the ATV side. So Tony and I got linked up with the guys at Bromley Suzuki. Our initial plan was for me to ride some races and see how things went, but things were going so well that I ended up racing for them and winning multiple class championships all the way up until that 97 season. The 97 season didn't go very well until the second half, where I ended up winning the last 3 rounds in 250A and getting 6th overall. So at the end of that 97 season, I received a call from Joe Bromley letting me know that although things were great up to that point, that they were going another direction and weren't going to be able to support me in that 98 season. I totally understood their situation, and there were no hard feelings on either side. So a massive thank you for helping me get to this point to Joe, Bill, and Steve Bromley. Thank you. So that left me with what looked like no ride in 98 on the bike side, but I received a call from Randy Hawkins, who to this day I consider a great mentor and friend. Randy got me linked up with Mike Guerra at Yamaha, and they asked if I'd be interested in riding for Randy's team. I called my great friend Doug Whitmer to see if he'd be my mechanic, and he said, heck yeah, let's do it. So thank you, Doug, for everything you've done in helping me get here. But there was a catch to riding that Yamaha. The catch was that I had to race the pro class, and it didn't take me long to agree and say, why not? So why not race pro ATV for 2 hours on Saturday and then go race again on Sunday for 3 more hours? So that's exactly what I did in the 98 and 99 season. So at the end of that 99 season, I decided to hang up my boots on the ATV side. It took a few years, but we finally got my first win on the bike side in 2001, which is also a day that I'll never forget. So fast forward to the 2003 season that started out with one of the worst and nastiest GNCCs ever, which I ended up winning. That would be a wake-up call for my competitors. I remember Freddie Andrews telling me, wow, we got to look at you as a serious threat guy. You're not just an ATV guy doing okay every now and then on the bike. So that gave me a ton of confidence that I carried on to the rest of that season, which ended with my one and only bike championship. The next several years, I had quite a few wins and ended up finishing second 3 times, which kind of hurts, but oh well. So at the end of 2010, I decided to hang up my boots on full-time racing. I look back on this and have no regrets. It was an incredible run, and I got to meet so many awesome people and see so many great places. Once I retired from racing, I decided that I still wanted to be part of the GNCCs and part of the track crew, helping out, trying to give back some knowledge that I have learned. That job might be tougher than racing, so my hat's off to Jeff Russell and his track crew. I hear Carrie Jo laughing over there. So that led me to my next venture in racing, which started off in 2016, and I'm still doing that to this day. I'm the team manager for the Coastal Gas Factory Racing Team. A huge thank you to Scott Kiger and his family for taking a chance with me and starting this team. And to the new owners, Denny and Amy Patterson and the Patterson family, thank you. A massive thank you to all of you. Also, I need to thank John Hines and Auntie Callanan and the KTM group for continuing to help me, to help the next generation of racers chase their dreams and their love for riding just like I did. I also need to mention a few other key people that helped me get here. Jeff Miller has been a lifelong friend that I could always send to the nastiest mud hole or hill climb on the track, and I think there's been a few times where he may have sacrificed his body for me to get a little bit of traction to get through. So thanks, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff, and his wife, Bobby Joe. And the rest of my crew that's been there for me since day one, like Ronnie Wilson, Donnie Wilson, Bob and Rhonda Allison, Craig Greenwood, and Sean and Tina Remington, thank you. I need to give a special thanks to Mom and Dad for sacrificing so much, helping me be the man I am today. Thank you. Thank you to my daughter, Ireland. You don't know how much inspiration and drive you've given me since the day you've arrived. Thank you to my son, Talon, who gives me inspiration and still wants old dad to be out there with him training and chasing his dream of racing GNCCs on his e-bike. And last but not least is my ride or die. She didn't get to see this part of this. I let him proofread it, but she didn't see it. My wife, my number one supporter, Kristen. They say behind every good man is a great woman, and that is 100% true. Kristen has stood beside me every step of the way for the last 31 years. I have 98 national wins, but there is only one of those wins that she wasn't by my side. So that means 97 times she was right there with me when I won. So if it wasn't for you supporting me, and I wouldn't have achieved so many great things. So thank you, Kristen, for everything that you've done through all this craziness and all the ups and downs. Thank you to all the great people that have helped me through the years, and thank you to everybody back at these tables right here. It means so much. Thank you.
Great job, Barry. I have a mic for you.
All right.
I'm going to make sure that's on. Hi, Barry.
Hello.
Look at you in your jacket,
Yeah,
your ring, sitting
good.
in the hot seat.
Good.
So you made mention that before you jumped into the professional series of GNCC, you started racing at county fairs. What was that experience like?
Yeah, so the local county fair race, which Rita, Dave, the Coombs family had put on, I don't even know how we found out about it, but it was just a local county fair race, and went to it, and I remember, getting there. I was all fired up. But what was something that really sticks out about that day was I was on an XR75, and I was one of the only kids there on a 4-stroke. All the other kids at the time were on 2-strokes on their 80s, and they're sitting there revving them up, and I'm sitting there, I'm revving my bike, and my dad's like, "Whoa, you don't need to do that. Like these 2-strokes, it's okay for them to do it. You don't have to do it." But I don't know why that memory sticks out, but I remember that race. I ended up winning, and it was a great memory. I remember going back the next year and doing it again. I don't remember those results, but something still to this day is that local county fair race. I think it was because it was the hometown race. Sure. It meant so much to me. And I remember one of the highlights actually for me, even though it wasn't on the national scene, was it would have been one of my last years, so it must have been 99-ish. I remember racing there on the ATV and winning the pro class. And then I also raced the bike and won the pro class. So I was an off-road guy that went to the motocross race and won both disciplines. And, it still sticks out to me as a really neat memory. And, it was so special because there were so many friends and so many people that I grew up there. Was at the county fair race. If we even go to this day, we go to the fair and I have people that are like, "Hey, you still racing the fair?" I'm like, "No, I retired from that a long time ago."
I love that. So after racing the fair, stepping into GNCC, you won a combined 8 titles, 7 consecutive titles in the ATV division, and 1 on a bike. And as you just told us, it was 2 hours and then 3 hours the next day. What was behind that decision?
I guess what was behind that decision was I wanted to pursue the bike thing. The ATV thing was getting to the point where it was kind of a job for me, and I wasn't enjoying the ATV side. Even though I was winning races and championships, it wasn't fun to me, but the bikes were still fun. So I kind of seen was thinking of the future where probably maybe if I can get better on this bike side, I can quit racing. I can quit racing 5 hours on the weekend and it would be easy to go race 3 hours. So that's kind of was the backstory of why I started racing a bike and wanted to do so many hours on GNCC track. It's crazy, but it got me to this point. So
yeah, I mean, honestly, you guys are all wonderfully crazy, right? Like there's always some sort of beast inside that's just driving you guys to race, and it's because you love it. That really, I think that's probably the answer too. But so you were at the Snowshoe GNCC event with your team when you recently found out that you are going to be inducted into the AMA Hall of Fame. What was your reaction like?
So I remember I walked out of our room and I was walking down to our team semi, and if anybody's been to Snowshoe, they probably know that cell phone service isn't too good there. So I'm walking down to the semi and I hear my phone ringing and I'm like, "Wow, phone's ringing, that's odd. Doesn't usually work here." And I'm looking at it, it was an odd number. So I'm like, it's probably a telemarketer. I put it away and I keep walking. And I'm like, it's Snowshoe, I might as well take this call. So hello, and he says, "Hey, this is Jack from the AMA." And I'm like, okay. And he's like, "I just want to let you know that it's a final now that you've made it in to the Hall of Fame. You're going." And I'm like, I pulled my phone away and I'm like, "Are you messing with me?" And he was like, "Nope, this is Jack from the AMA. I just wanted to let you know that you're officially in, and I just wanted to be the first to call you and congratulations, tell you, good job." And I'm like, I'm like, "Okay, so you're being 100% serious. I'm in now." And he said, "No, yeah, you're definitely in. I just, I won't take up no more of your time." And I'm like, "Well, heck yeah, thanks. I really appreciate it." And he's like, "But you can't tell anyone. You got to hang on." I'm like, "Okay." So 5 minutes later, I'm down at the truck. I'm all kind of anxious and happy, and my son comes around the corner. I'm like, "Hey, come here, I got to tell you something." So my son was the first one I got to tell about it, but and I ended up telling probably 5 minutes later. I told my daughter, and 5 minutes later, I told my wife. But
so Kristen found out last.
I'm sure she found out last.
Family.
Yeah. So, But yeah, that was a really neat, phone call, and the way it played out was pretty neat.
That's awesome. What was Talon's reaction?
He was his big-eyed like, nah, and I'm like, yeah, and he's like, you're serious, and I'm like, yeah, and he's like, you sure? And I'm like, at first I thought they was pranking me, but no, it's legit, it's for real. So that was pretty neat.
That's wonderful. And you've had a reinvention for your second part of your career as a team manager for the Coastal Gas Factory team. I know racers want to be racers, so does that fulfill that need for you?
A lot of it does. Especially when my guys do good. When they're doing not so good, they take it harder than I do. I just want to try to help them figure out, if there's a bike issue or if it's something with them, I want to try and help them figure it out. But whenever they win, and a perfect example of when they win was last year at the Mason-Dixon GNCC, had Ricky Russell, he won the overall XC1, and then Ryder Lafferty won XC2 in his class. So both of my factory guys won their class and done the best they could. So for me, it was like, I told them, I said, whenever you guys do your job, that means I'm doing my job, and we couldn't have done any better. So I don't know how it ever came about, but before that race, I think it was Ricky may have said about doing a shoey, with the alcohol in the boot. So I bet him before the race. I said, yeah, if you win and Ryder wins, yeah, I'll do it. So he wasn't on the podium for like 5 seconds, and he's like, hey, Barry, you better come on up here. And I'm like, I can't believe it's going to, but hey, they won. So I took one for the team and done a shoey. But to answer your question, that for me is like whenever something like that happens, that it's not as good for me as winning an overall, because I know what all that takes and what it means. But it's very, very close and satisfying when my guys do very well. It means a lot to me.
I love that.
Because I'm giving back to them and helping them achieve and chase their dreams the same as I done.
Exactly. And for those that don't know what a shoey is, you take the shoe off of your foot that you've been wearing.
It's the boot that Ricky was racing in for 3 hours. He took his boot off, sweaty, dirty, nasty, poured a can of beer in it, and I had to
drink the beer out of the boot.
Yeah, it was
gross.
It was gross.
Yeah. But you're a man of your word.
That's right. I'm a man of my word, and I took him up on it and was, hey, I'll say it again. If my guys win this weekend, I'll do it again.
Oh, God.
We need a win right now. We need a win.
Okay. I was going to let you get out of it, but we're live. So I bet your team has just seen that.
That's fine. Let's go, guys.
All right. Let's go. Barry, thank you so very much for sharing some of your stories with us. And again, congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, Barry Hawk.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. Yes, of course. All right, your jacket. Your ring box. I don't know what it is. All right, we'll find it. As one of the leading architects of the current off-road racing scene, Rita Coombs' impact on the sport of motorcycle racing has been monumental.
Playing key roles in the creation of several prestigious motorcycle races and series, Coombs' reach is felt throughout the sport. Now Coombs is entering the AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame, thanks to her tireless effort in growing the sport of motorcycle racing.
Inspired by On Any Sunday, Coombs and her husband Dave, a 2000 inductee into the AMA Hall of Fame, began promoting their own AMA events in 1973. Soon after, the Coombs opened their own track, Appalachia Lake MX Park in West Virginia.
In 1982, the Coombs, with the help of Paul Schlegel, pioneered the creation of the AMA Amateur National Motocross Championship at the late AMA Hall of Famer Loretta Lynn's ranch in Hurricane Mills, Tennessee. Since its creation, the event has become the premier amateur motocross race in the world.
The Coombs also created the AMA Grand National Cross Country Series, the country's leading off-road racing series.
After her husband's passing in 1998, Rita Coombs continued to run the family business alongside her children, Carrie Jo, Davey, and Tim.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Rita Coombs.
Presenting the Hall of Fame ring to Rita tonight is Ed Lojak.
Man, them lights are bright. Rita Coombs, in recognition of your contribution to the off-road racing scene and the significant impact you put on motorcycle racing, it is in our great honor to induct you into the AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame.
Before your speech, would you like to put your jacket on? No? No? Okay. I will keep it for safekeeping.
I need to take this off.
Okay. We don't have to do that.
Okay.
Okay. But do you want to, we can give you can give your speech.
Can I put it on over top?
Sure you can. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You're Rita Coombs. You can do whatever you want. Oh, you look gorgeous. Amazing. Do you want to give a speech?
I'll make it quick.
Do you have it up your sleeve? Oh, she is funny. You're hilarious.
I'm going to take this time, and short time, I hope, to thank and recognize some of the people who have helped us along the way. My family and I have had a wonderful, fun time promoting events and racing. I had 2 young boys who were good at racing, and we wanted to provide the best stage we possibly could for them. And we started out slow, and Dave kept thinking of bigger and better things and different kinds of competition. He loved the woods, but he loved motocross, and he was a late bloomer. So we got into racing after we were both school teaching. And pretty soon, racing took over the weekends, and it was hard to squeeze teaching in because you had to be there on Monday and Friday. But Dave, of course, was also a musician, played bass guitar. Little did I know he was booking jobs close to racetracks. And we'd have to be there at the job on Friday night so he could earn some money. And then again on Saturday night. And on Sunday, man, at 6 o'clock, we were off to the racetrack. Sometimes I was able to get home in time to teach school on Monday, but after a while I began to just be a substitute teacher because I had to pick Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Dave soon became friends with Bill West. Bill West called him Coombsy and said we were West Virginia hillbillies. Dave really envied Bill. Bill had the Winter AM series back in the day. He had the mini O's, which are still going on now. And they became great friends and soon partnered in events like Arena Cross, Dirt Days, anything that the two of them could think up. And that took a lot of imagination, believe me. When we began to get off on our own, it was because a woman named Anita Barton came to us and asked us. She knew about Dave and hare scrambles at the motocross track that we were running. And she asked him if he would be interested in coming to a town named Davis, West Virginia, and doing a cross-country event. Of course, Dave just couldn't leave that alone and just do a cross-country event. He had to make it 100 miles, 20-mile loops. Terry Cunningham can attest to this fact. He was up here earlier this evening. I think he won it one year. But she had an ulterior motive for asking us to do that. She was trying to save the community of Davis, West Virginia, and she knew what kind of economic impact an event like that would have, bringing people into that community. What Dave didn't tell me was that there was no admission charge. The only thing there was a price to pay if you entered the race. We were able to hold on to that event for 19 years. And then Sierra came after us with something about a snipe or something that they found existed in that vicinity in Tucker County, and they basically wanted to shut us down. I think if we had fought it, we would have still been there, but we decided it wasn't really worth it, and Dave had turned his attention to the Weisco 100-miler series, which was the beginning of the GNCC. A guy named Bob Gorman allowed us to put their stamp of approval, Piston Company in Ohio, on the event, and we had ourselves a sponsor. We thought that was a big deal. Bob Gorman has remained a friend the whole time, and we've never done, I don't think we've ever done an event that he hasn't put his stamp on. I know he has probably switched companies, or he has Cometic too, but we started with Weisco and we maintain with Weisco. I want to take that, people always ask me how we got started, and that's how we got started into the GNCCs. My kids remind me that we've been to 80 different event locations. Now, each year we do at least 10 or 12 events, but we have landed on 80 different venues. And I really and truly believe that the reason that we're still in a lot of those venues or still have a relationship is because the economic impact that a motorcycle event can have on a community is mind-boggling. It's something that we realize soon, and I think that's got a lot to do with the reason why we were able to go into Loretta's and hold the event there, because there was a little town near there named Waverly, Tennessee, and it was a struggling place, but Mooney was all about community and helping his community, and I think he saw that as a factor. And it's just like when Loretta's got flooded a couple of years ago and the water came and washed everything away, including the town. The motorcycle community rallied to help Waverly and raised thousands of dollars and put in countless hours of help in cleanup, because that's what motorcyclists do, especially if they're attached to a venue like we have become with several of the places that we go. I do want to mention a few people, and forgive me if I miss some, but I'm going to do this very quickly. A few of you remember a man named Walker Garrison. Walker Garrison was very, very instrumental in helping us to be who we are today, because he introduced us to Parts Unlimited. And the people who have worked for Parts Unlimited all these years, they continue to help us. And we see Hilton almost every month during the summertime. He's stepped up to the plate, and it's like we can run things by him as so we can with Bevo. And the companies that he's with, they've been with us for years, since the very, very beginning. Mooney and Loretta, we've been there over 40 years. Of course, the two of them are gone now, but it doesn't matter. Her family has stepped up, and we have a long life still roaming there, or still to come. A couple of other people, Dave Jordan, believe it or not, when we first went to Tennessee, to Loretta's, he wrote into the Team Green contracts that the kids would come and participate, and they still do. It's nice to have Kawasaki behind the starting gate where they landed the first year they showed up, and they've continued to help us all this time. Casey Wada, who gave us a little bit of a boost when he took the participants, the winners, when he took them to Japan. Apparently, Japan had a tourism program, and he was able to latch on to that. And there are 2 buses of kids who were able to travel in Japan and take part in that venture with us. Rick Simon. Now you're going to say, why Rick Simon? He wrote some terrible things about us. He didn't like the Loretta Lynn program. He didn't like anything about it. He didn't like the classes. He made fun of everything. However, He unknowingly made us look bad, and we took it on as a challenge. And we made that place great. You all know that's true. But it was like kind of exciting to be able to put all of that together. C.E. Altman, there are people in here who know who he was. He allowed us to take the motorcycles into his arena shows with the Supercross, the big monster bog trucks, pools, whatever there was that he could fit us in. And we were able to go to a lot of the arenas and do motorcycle racing on its own. I think Dave got a little bit discouraged, though, when we got the fire marshal involved in Cincinnati. Then we went to Augusta, Georgia, and it snowed for 3 days, and we were locked there for a week. He didn't like that much. But I think what kind of took the cake was when we went to Madison Square Garden, and somebody stole the hubcaps off of our new van. And I think Dave had enough of the indoors because you couldn't watch your vehicle from there. We like to say that we kind of helped save ATVs. You know, the production of ATVs kind of fell out for a while, but for some reason we continued to race them. And Roy Jansen helped us keep it going with the AMA. They stood beside us and let us do what we wanted to do. The Holbert family, they provided us with a permanent home for motocross with High Point Raceway. I like to think that High Point is one of the premier sites on the calendar. When Dave passed away, John Ayers, he stepped up, became our Swiss Army knife. If we needed something done, John found a way to do it. If we needed a sponsor, John found a way to find one. It was, he's been a great help to our family. I think that I like to think of myself as a coach. I'm the coach. But because I have a winning team of people that have been guys that have been with us for a long time. I have a great trail box in Jeff Russell. I have a great spokesman in Tim Cotter. I have a great legal mind in Carrie Jo. Carrie's been able to keep racing, even through the pandemic. She's been able to keep the NPG Promoters Group running. Dave thought of that the spring that he passed away, and she picked it up and she services those other promoters, keeps them informed, keeps us together. Now we're venturing into a new thing. with Supercross. And hopefully we will be able to hold our own, and hopefully they have the same faith in us that we do in them. We have been able to come together with something new because we're always looking for something new. Every once in a while, you need a warm-up, or you need just a little bit of a nudge, or something, a new idea. And we're doing that. And my family, I know how they feel about racing. I know how they feel about all of you. We just want to be better. We want to be better. The AMA has allowed us to do that. Roy Jansen stepped up with the ATVs. And back in the day, you had to be if you wanted to be a promoter, it cost more. And if you were a club, you just had to have everybody have a membership. And our thing was to get everybody we knew to buy a membership. So we could say, yes, we can sanction. They did. Hugh Fleming is in the audience tonight, Connie's husband. Hugh Fleming put up with so much crap from us, but he helped us. And he saw what we saw. And through the years, the AMA, they've seen what we see. And hopefully, they let us continue to create and be our best, because we do come up with a lot of good ideas. I know that everybody wants to know, how did Loretta's get started? Well, we had a friend, Paul Schlegel, who passed away this spring. Paul did the business for Loretta's. Dave did the labor work, came up with the track. Dave loved Loretta Lynn's. It was sad that he wasn't here to see 40 years. But I know that he knows that we're doing our best and that the AMA is letting us do our best. I am forever grateful. This was a real forgive me. I just want to thank all the riders and our fans who come and see us every weekend and who love racing as much as we do. And it's so great to have streaming and be able to produce our own TV show when the network or whoever can't come. It's unbelievable what my team can do when they let us. Thank you.
Want to join me Well, Miss Rita, you answered every single question that I had planned for you. So here's what I'm going to do. Since you covered everything, as I sat here, as I was listening to you, Grant Langston calls you the godmother of motocross. You called yourself a coach. But look at this entire class of 2023.
Yes.
You have had a hand in all of their history. What are you processing with that?
I like to think that we and our programs have touched people and kind of nudged them in the right direction of a championship that they've, and it doesn't matter whether you win a championship or not. If you've raced, we've touched your heart, and you have a memory of what we've done.
Yep, that's right. And you and your family are responsible for all of that. And it was the beginning for all of these
Some of
riders.
some of these guys, it was the beginning.
Pretty amazing, right?
Yeah, I'm very proud of that. My family loves what they do, and even with the magazine, we're able to preach it to the choir. There isn't a person who doesn't look at that magazine and know who these guys are because of it. It's if you can't, it's just one of the ways of letting people know about each other.
Yep. Rita, I am so grateful for your time, for your words, for your wisdom. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Ladies and gentlemen, Rita Coombs. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Possessing one of the most noteworthy 10-year runs in AMA Supercross motocross racing, Ryan Dungey's induction into the AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame comes as little surprise to motorcycle racing enthusiasts.
From 2007 to 2017, Dungey claimed 4 AMA Supercross 450 titles and a trio of motocross championships in the 450 class, elevating himself into the upper echelon of all-time motorcycle racers.
Dungey, a Belle Plaine, Minnesota native, signed his first professional contract with Suzuki in 2006 and immediately made his mark as a pro, winning the AMA Supercross Motocross Rookie of the Year in 2007 and capturing the Supercross Lights West and AMA 250 Pro Motocross titles in 2009.
After winning the AMA 450 Supercross and AMA 450 Pro Motocross titles in 2010, Dungey switched over to KTM, where he produced a pair of motocross titles and a trio of AMA Supercross championships. While with KTM, Dungey registered a record-setting 31 consecutive podium finishes.
Dungey also tallied a trio of Motocross of Nations wins with Team USA, winning 3 straight in 2009 through 2011. And for his prowess on the track, Dungey won back-to-back ESPY Awards for the best athlete in men's action sports in 2015 and 2016.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ryan Dungey.
Presenting the Hall of Fame ring to Ryan tonight is Hall of Famer Roger DeCoster.
Ardy, this is a great honor to hand over this Hall of Fame ring to you, your well-deserved career. I remember Ryan and his dad coming up to talk to Jan and me. I think it was 2004, 2005, asking for advice. And after a couple of times, Jan and I, we start talking. Hey, this kid is really nice, you know. Maybe we should invite him to California and come and try one of our bikes. And so we did. I made a deal with his mom, Michelle, and Ryan came to Glen Helen, and we were on a test day with Ricky Carmichael that day. And as you know, Ricky, he would put in the laps and laps. And then comes this young kid. He gets on the bike. He goes out, start riding, and he's just riding and riding and riding. He comes in, and I go to him, and I wanted to see who he was. And he started talking like he had not done anything. I said, this kid is special. So after that, we made his mom and I made a deal. And the first deal, we paid him actually on earned points. And we worked it out so that if he won a championship, he would come out on a salary that was equivalent to what we normally pay a possible champion. And then the rest is history. He ended up winning a couple 250 titles, Rookie of the Year. Then in 2010, won both Supercross and Outdoor as a rookie, still the first and only guy that has done it. And then I also remember the nation races. In Italy was the first time that we won with Ryan. I remember his mom, Michelle, she had tested the first time what limoncello was about. And she was pretty happy at the end of the day. Yeah, and then, so here we are now, and one of the best ever. And the cool thing about Ryan, he did it in a gentleman's way. And we're really proud of you, and I'm really honored to have worked with you all those years, and it's been great. Thank you.
First and foremost, congratulations to Grant, Barry, Rita, and Travis. It's an honor to be up here with you guys, being inducted to the Hall of Fame. And just being here is a dream come true. You know, my amateur career was not stellar by any means, and I remember being 16 years old, blowing out the birthday cake, and there was no ride. There was no ride. We had a little bit of success, but the amateur career was tough. It was really hard. It didn't seem like I just didn't have the speed. Parents were pouring in a bunch of money. It was hard. And we had a little bit of success there at the end of my 16-year-old year, and we were at, like Roger said, we'd go up to him, and my dad was joking one day. He said, go up to Roger and tell him you look forward to riding for him one day. And so I did, and Dad must have thought, wow, he's really going to do it, you know? And so long story short, like Roger said, they gave me a little tryout there at Glen Helen, actually, and Ricky was there. I was so nervous. I crashed in the mud, I think, the first lap, and I had to come in, power wash the bike off, and I thought, man, it's over. I might as well just enjoy the rest of the day riding, and riding a factory bike is going to be my last chance. I'll never get another time. And thankfully, they didn't see it like I saw it from the beginning, and at the end of the day, they gave me a 2-year contract, and off we were. And it was a big step in the right direction. And but there was a lot of people involved I'd like to thank, starting with my parents. You know, my mom and dad, they sacrificed a lot. I know you hear a lot of riders say it, but they went backwards in debt for me and my brothers. They supported us like tremendously. They were always there for us. And you know, I remember sitting on the couch with my dad. I must have been 8. I knew I wanted to be a professional rider. It was a dream. I watched it on TV. I saw it, and we just got done watching the race. And my dad said, "Just think, Ryan. One day me and you could fly to the races together." And I thought that was so cool. And from that day forward, that's all I wanted to be. So, Mom and Dad, thank you Thank you for everything, for sacrificing so much. You know, I appreciate every bit of it. I'll never be able to repay you back. Thank you. Thank you very much. My brothers, Jade and Blake, you know, we were competitive as all hell, and I loved every minute growing up with them and the time we get to spend together. You know, all the fist fights, the tough brotherly love made us tough, and I love you guys. Thank you. I've got to thank my grandparents too. They were there for morally and financially too, and couldn't have done it without them. And my wife, Lindsay, you know, I met her in 2007. I was hurt. I came back, and to think about life, what it was like before her and afterwards, she made me a better man, and life just was so much better afterwards, and I appreciate everything she's done. And you know, we have 2 kids now, and she gave up so much to be there with me and through my career. We traveled together. My coffee buddy, we'd go to all kinds of different places, and it made the journey way more fun. So thank you. I love you. I got to thank my best bud Spencer Daly. He was there for me for my whole career, and he's always been there. So he's an honest, good man, good person, and I appreciate every bit of it. Roger, thank you for that opportunity at Glen Helen. I know I talked about it a little bit, but that I probably wouldn't be standing here had it not been for that, and it would have been a lot different. And you gave me that chance, and you took me under your wing. The fact that I was able to come in to Suzuki with you, not just on any bike, but a factory bike with the best, the best to do it in the sport, with the knowledge, the wisdom. You took me under your wing, taught me how to be a winner, have that championship mentality, and I appreciate every bit of knowledge you've ever shared with me, and I value our relationship tremendously. And Ian, you were there at Glen Helen too, and I think you were like, who's this guy? But, you were supportive. You were there, and, those first 2 years in 2007, 2008, it's to be up here in the Hall of Fame, but where it started, it was, I was caving under the pressure, caving under the championship pressure, having a hard time figuring out, and Ian, I enjoyed our talks, and by 2009, he was supportive. He was like, we got to do it. You can do it. Believe in yourself. And, I valued every bit of it. The bikes were fast, and there was never a doubt. You were providing the best of everything. And I valued our friendship very muchly, and our talks and life's perspective and racing and now kids, and appreciate every bit of it. But too, I got to say, Ian and Roger, when you guys, end of 2010, when you went to KTM, I was heartbroken, that time we had, but looking back, it was the best thing. You guys were setting something up, and much credit to you guys for where KTM is today. Even had you not guys gone there, KTM probably wouldn't be where they are today by any means, and you guys built a race team from nothing, and turned it into something great, and brought me on in 2012. Those first 3 years were tough. We had a little bit of success in the beginning with the outdoor championship, but I think we all knew we wanted the Supercross championship. That was the goal, and we were at each other relentlessly those first 3 years, but by 2015 we got it right, and the next 3 years were quite amazing. And it's one thing to win the races and the championships that we did at Suzuki, but then to do it at KTM, and a brand that was trying to prove themselves, that was really not really people thought much of in America. They were very dominant in Europe, but in America, it wasn't a brand that a lot of riders would choose to ride for. And to be able to be a part of that journey, and the crew and the team of people, and going, taking KTM to that next level, it was unbelievable. The memories and the moments and the relationships and the things we were able to accomplish, and it's going to be hard to top that in life. So it was really enjoyable. Got to thank Pit Buyer and Mr. Stefan Pierre as well, and as well as everybody at Austria, KTM, and everybody over here in America, North America. Heinz, thank you for everything. You're an awesome leader, man, and very supportive in the whole racing program, but also with the foundation. Thank you. Another guy I don't want to leave out on the table is Eldon Baker. I got to start working with him in 2014, and the guy was rock solid, from just a good, solid human being, a good, godly man. I valued our friendship tremendously. The training was one thing, the program, but the good times it brought. Me and Lindsay, we moved down to Claremont in 2015, and him and Eldon and his wife Liz took us in for a whole month, and the hospitality they showed us until we could find a house. But I think that the success from 2015 to 17, I got to thank him. It was a lot to do with him as well, along with KTM. So thank you. Throughout my career, the two people I wanted to ride for, the companies were Fox and Oakley. And I was able to get to be a part of the Fox team in 2009. It was a dream come true. So Pete Fox, who I didn't expect to be here, but he is here. So thank you for bringing me on board. It was always a dream of mine as a little kid to be a Fox athlete and still be one to this day. And Oakley as well. Anthony Paggio, you took a chance on me and as a rookie. So thank you. And I want to thank MX Sports as well as Feld Motorsports and AMA. You guys provided a platform for us to race and to make a living, and it's hard to believe that you can race two wheels, and I never really viewed it as a job by any means. It was fun, it was enjoyable, and I just didn't want to take it for dang granted, and for it to be taken away. I just wanted to make the most of it and to be able to make a living at it and to make a good living. Thank you guys for providing that platform for us, and I think you guys get a lot of flack of, like Rita was saying, you guys can always do better and this and that, but you guys do an incredible job, and not you guys, MX Sports and Feld working together. I'm really excited to see where the future of the sport's going to go. I believe in it. I think you guys are doing the right thing, and I'm excited for the future. I guess what's next for me, I'm still involved with the industry, still enjoyed working with KTM. Got the Ryan Dungey Foundation. We're spending a lot of time on that. Our mission is to create opportunities for kids and help them live healthy and active lifestyles. And we got a lot of great partners and a lot of great support from the community. Our beneficiaries are St. Jude, as well as All Kids Bike. All Kids Bike is a two-wheel program that introduces two wheels to kids who probably are not going to get introduced to them at all throughout their lifetime. And I look at my life and what two wheels has done for me. And it's just by my parents getting me bike, and whether it was a bicycle or a motorcycle, whatever it is, the freedom and the excitement that it felt and the journey it took me on, and I want others to experience that as well and invest in those kids. So thank you for everybody who's supported and been a part of that. And lastly, I will say, the one thing that was hard for me as a kid from Minnesota, especially in a cold winter sport, it's a winter there, you don't get to ride all year round, and it was always hard for me to believe in myself. And I feel like God put me in the right positions with the right people, and even like Roger and just amazing people, Carmichael, Stewart, these people, Ian, I didn't believe in myself, and these guys, believed in me and showed me, wow, I need to believe in myself a little bit more if these guys believe that much in me. And I would just encourage kids. I think the biggest thing that I tried to do as a kid is just be a good role model for the next kids coming up, and to inspire them to make something out of nothing. And I'm super grateful for all the people in my life and the people part of my career. And this one's for you guys, and you deserve the credit. Thank you.
Of course. Wait, I'll make it a little bit more awkward. There we go.
Thank you.
If you will, stand center stage.
Okay.
Show everyone your jacket and your ring. That's what they're waiting for. I love that. Here, and come have a seat with me, please.
You sit here, I forgot.
That's okay. I'll get you in the right spot. Ryan Dungey, in my 20-ish years in the industry, I have never seen Roger DeCoster get emotional. So that was a first for me, really incredible. I'm gonna take you all the way back to when you were a little one, and you raced the KGSC, the KTM Junior Racing Program, when you were just 7 years old. Do you remember anything about that experience?
Yeah, I remember the whole day.
You do?
I do. It was a, at that point I knew what I wanted to do as a kid, and to be factory for a day. I think it was the first year KTM had the program in Minneapolis. Me and my dad went there, and we were pitted out of where all the pros were, and they had the bikes lined up. Our bike was waiting for us, ready to go and ride the same track as the pros, and it was your factory for a day. And I looked back at that day. It was something I remembered because I wanted to do that when I got older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you finished on the podium.
I did. I got third. Yeah, and so the night went good. I got asked if I wanted to shake Jeremy McGrath's hand or a kiss from the trophy girl. I took shake Jeremy McGrath's hand,
As you would.
Still waiting for it, but no. But it was a day I'll never forget. And to be 7, you got to remember when you're that young. I mean, it's things seem so big and so bright, and it was an amazing experience. So the fact that they do that, it's a great opportunity.
And speaking about big and bright, your future during the 2015 and 2016 seasons, you had a record-setting 31 consecutive podium finishes. What, in the 450 class, what went into that on a personal level?
You talk about the consecutive finishes, but we were just trying to do the best we could every single race. Once we got on a roll, it was good, but just one race at a time, trying to with the championship mindset, trying to be there in the end, and then just being consistent, not giving up points, and just trying to execute, getting a good start every race, and being up front. And I don't think it's crazy to think 31 consecutive weekends went good in a row, which in a sport that so many things can happen. So it was a pretty cool stretch.
Yeah, absolutely historic. In 2009, you were fresh off of winning the 250 National Championship stateside. And then you quickly went to throwing a leg over a 450 in Italy with not a lot of prep time for the Motocross of Nations. What stood out to you competing in the Motocross of Nations for the first time?
I was so nervous. It's just a different stage. I mean, anybody who's ever been there or watched, it's just a day race, but it feels like the whole weight's on your shoulders, and it's a great opportunity to represent to be able to race for your country. I remember that year we didn't have a really strong 450 lineup, and I was already going to the 450s, and I asked Raj, I said, can I race the 450s? It was kind of gutsy. But I just always felt like I was a 450 rider. It suited my style. It had the power, and I was more of a my style was just more mellow, and I could use the power. So he said, yep. And then Weimer rode the 250s, and we were called the B team that year. And so for you guys this year, I see maybe we're going to send the B team, but the B team can get it done. We did in 2009, and it was an unbelievable moment, and I'll never forget that was the coolest race of all time. And even celebrating that night, the limoncello was flowing, Mom.
Wait, is that when Roger met your mom for the first time? Is that what he was?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's the first time that I think I learned about limoncello, and then a lot of us. And if you don't know, it sneaks up on you, and it snuck up on a lot of us. So it was fun. We celebrated. We had a good time. It was a good way to cap off the victory.
Yeah. Well, as you should celebrate.
Yeah.
But how does winning a Motocross of Nations trophy compare to Supercross or Motocross?
I mean, they're both special. 2009 was my first 2 titles, so that was in itself special. And the championships here, it's a string of races. In the 250s at the time, I think it was about 9 races to win the Supercross championship, and then 12 races to win the Motocross championship. And so those are to win that, and it's a lot of things that got to go right between the rider, the bike, everything, and they're just two different special moments. I guess I don't really know how to put it into words other than just it's surreal, it's amazing, it's everything you work for, and to be able to, you know, I guess in the one sense, the designations you're racing for your country, you know, and that's you feel a lot of weight and pressure, and to get that done and bring it home and to accomplish that, it's a big moment, especially that first one.
So in your speech, you were just talking a lot about how there were moments where you didn't believe in yourself, but the team surrounding you did.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that contributed to your success?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it always took me a lot to see myself in that position. I wanted to be there. It just was always it was always tough for me to believe in myself, and it was just challenging. I mean, it took a lot of faith. Had to fail a couple times to figure it out, and you know, 2007 and 2008 were tough years as far as coming up short of the championship, but it would shape the rest of my career, and you know, I just kind of came to the conclusion, and Roger was really instrumental in that. You know, you got to be okay with winning and losing. You got to be in the middle. You can't be afraid to fail. And I remember even lining it up for 2017, that last race at Vegas. It was like I was okay with just as much as winning as I was losing, and I had to be in the middle because I can't hang on to it. I got to be willing to lose in order to win. And so I think it took time for me to understand that, and it's just there's a lot from a 16 to that 18-year-old. Those 2 years, there was just a lot. You're just taking so much in. You're just trying to keep yourself above water.
Yeah. You think you figured it out yet?
Kind of. I won't say I got to figure it out. Yeah.
Well, you have reinvented yourself, and you've started the Ryan Dungey Foundation, and really notable foundation, what you guys are doing. What sparked that for you?
I lost my grandmother to cancer in 2005. I would say that was that was a moment in my life that was confusing and tough, but I think, you know, long story short, I wanted to find ways to give back. You know, I was a big Lance Armstrong guy growing up and reading his books and stuff, and I thought maybe I wanted to, right around the time my grandmother passed away, I read that book and I wanted to start a foundation. It didn't happen until probably 2021, but you know, we did a lot of work with putting on rides and events, and you know, when the pandemic came, at the time we had a ride in Minnesota, a bicycle ride, and we were raising money for St. Jude. Well, the pandemic came and that got shut down, and I was like, well, here's our opportunity, and that's when we started the foundation. And like I told you, the beneficiaries are St. Jude and All Kids Bike, and we've made a lot of great progress, had an awesome impact. You know, KTM's a founding partner, Fox is a founding partner, Oakley, the guys that I raced for are now, you know, thankfully have their support in this area too, which has been great. And the community's been amazing as well, and we've got a couple ride days coming up. So it's just been really good work, and like I said, what Two Wheels has done for my life, you know, we can introduce Two Wheels to kids at a young age and help them get them outside and get them off the iPads and you know, maybe even grow the sport. And if they want to come into racing or GNCC, or maybe they don't go into sport, whatever, but at least they're being healthy, and we're trying to provide that moment, that impact in their life that, you know, they can do something with. And so it's been rewarding, it's been fun, and appreciate everybody behind it and helping support it all, and grateful for your support. Thank you.
And then how do people find more information about it?
You can go to the RyanDungeyFoundation.org.
Just wanted to
learn
sure.
more.
Okay.
Yep.
Ryan, thank you so
you.
very much for sharing your stories, and congratulations on your induction into the Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Dungey. Congratulations. Want to fix that for you? As a racer and famed stuntman, Travis Pastrana has always delivered.
After getting his start in motocross, Pastrana delved into the world of entertainment as a stunt rider and lead personality behind the Nitro Circus brand, which spans reality TV, movies, and live performances. Now, Pastrana is set to become an AMA Motorcycle Hall of Famer.
In motocross, Pastrana became the then youngest rider to capture an AMA Pro Motocross title after winning the AMA 125 National Motocross Championship in 1999. Pastrana also added the 2001 125 East Supercross Championship to his resume.
Although an accomplished racer, Pastrana set his eyes on a different form of competition in the X Games, where he saw a similar success. He won 17 total medals, including 11 golds, during his illustrious X Games career.
Beyond the world of competition, Pastrana founded and fostered the Nitro Circus brand, which has grown into one of the largest entertainment fixtures in motorsports. He's also a successful stunt rider, a pursuit sparked by his childhood role model, Evel Knievel.
Pastrana was recognized as the best male action sports athlete at the 2007 ESPY Awards and was the 2018 AMA Motorcyclist of the Year.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Travis Pastrana.
They want to put your coat on. Presenting the Hall of Fame ring tonight to Hall of Famer is Hall of Famer Brock Glover.
What an incredible class tonight. I don't think we've ever seen anything like this, and congratulations to each one of you. I mean, for many of us, motorcycle is about living the dream. And can you imagine the dreams that ran through a young Travis Pastrana's mind when he set his head on a pillow at night? In the beginning, he surely dreamt of winning motocross and supercross championships, which he achieved. But quickly, that must have switched gears to plodding feats on motorcycles, previously unimaginable. Driven by a creative mind and unbridled enthusiasm, Travis quickly made believers out of the biggest skeptics. His dreams evolved from 2 wheels to 4 wheels, to on the water, to up in the air, some with parachutes and some without. And in his magnetic personality and showmanship, motorcycling has not experienced such a passionate lure since Malcolm Smith injected his infectious smile in the movie On Any Sunday more than 50 years ago. Travis has the gift of making whoever he is with feel like they are the center of his attention. You can't spend 30 seconds with Travis and not walk away a fan. A true ambassador for motorcycling in every sense of the word. Travis, cats are known for having 9 lives, but I think you have 199 lives. It's my distinct honor to present the world's most well-known motorcyclist and newest inductee to the AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame, Travis Pastrana.
Here you go. You look great. You want to show everyone? Yeah.
I mean, to think that a kid from Annapolis, Maryland, just had the Golden Boy introduce him at a Hall of Fame, and not for riding, as Roger and Ian know, we've had some struggles on the results, but for having fun on a dirt bike. I got to travel around the world with all of my best friends and some of my biggest enemies, including you, Grant. Don't let that speech, that humble, appreciative speech, fool you. That man was, I can't say all those expletives here, but it's been an amazing ride. Starting out with this man right in front of me, Jeff Cernick. I tell you what, we had my mom and dad, they said, well, we had a boat and we had 1 mortgage on the house, and my dad had a Harley. And by the time we made it to Loretta Lynn's for the probably 3rd or 4th time, we had 3 mortgages on the house. We had no boat. My dad had no Harley. And Jeff Cernick, every single year when we couldn't figure out how to go through Pat Alexander or get Suzuki bucks to pay for the gas, and all my uncles were chipping in to pay for gas money to get to Loretta Lynn's, to prove that I belonged there, to prove that I could go out and race with the best in the world. Jeff Cernick made sure that I had a brand new Suzuki, a stock bike. He said, the stock bike is the class that everyone is on the same playing field. And we ended up winning that stock class 5 times at Loretta Lynn's, and had the privilege of signing my pro contract with the man, Roger DeCoster. I know you guys are here for Ryan, but it's an honor seeing you guys. But in the end, and to be perfectly honest, I don't know if I ever admitted this out loud, but racing was too hard. I mean, it's the most amazing sport in the world. And to kind of give you a little glimpse of that, came off the Horizon Award winner at Loretta Lynn's, signed pro contract with Roger, had the best bikes on the track, and I got to go on Jay Leno. I didn't tell DeCoster and the Suzuki team that I was going there, and I crashed because it was raining in New York that night, and I dislocated and second-degree separation of my shoulder. I got on a plane that night. I headed to Roger's house. Didn't really tell him, but he found out pretty quick that I couldn't move my arm up or do anything. So I got on my first factory bike, Lee McCullum, had it all. It was perfect. And I was like, I didn't know if I could go through the whoops without falling off. So I went to the hills. And I didn't make it up the first big hill I hit. And that bike tumbled all the way back to the ground. And then I told Roger I couldn't ride practice because my shoulder wouldn't work. And I promised him we'd win that race. And it was a World Supercross in the Rose Bowl. And I went out there. And with no practice and not a lot of training, no time on the bike, my tongue was in the spokes. I was talking to Elvis, and I was breathing through my butthole. And luckily, I was in so tired that I didn't realize that my shoulder was popping in and out of place. And I was able to win that race. And kind of made a fan of the Suzuki crew and proved that we belong there. Finally got back about 2 weeks before the AMA East Coast Supercross Championship that year when I was 16, and started riding again. Went to Jeremy McGrath's house, flipped over, broke my thumb. Went to the first race with a cast on my hand. Again, no practice. Went in, qualified pretty bad, wasn't getting good starts, wasn't really known for good starts. And man, that whole crowd in Indianapolis was standing on their feet and cheering, so I did heel clicker. Then I went over the finish line jump, and I went to do a Superman seat grab. Why, I have no idea. As it turns out, it's really hard to grab the fender with a cast on your wrist. And I missed it. Superman landed, blew off the bike, took out the camera guy that was after the first berm. And first person I saw was Jeff Stanton. And he was laughing so hard because he had been trying to get me to Honda. Second person I saw was Roger DeCoster. And I'll never forget that face. Went down to the starting line. Lee McCollum was shaking his head, changed out the clutch lever. And I got best start of the day. I started out second, made it about a lap, jumped what I thought was in the lead, and landed on landed on Brock Sellers, took us both out, crashed off the track, ended up fourth. Anyway, got my cast off for Daytona, and was able to win Daytona, was able to win again in St. Louis. Then went to outdoors, thought, man, this is going to be awesome. I cannot wait for this. And I broke my wrist in the second moto. I got up, I finished third, we made the podium. I was a scaphoid, it's a real small bone. It's now fused because of that, because we never stopped racing that year. I don't think I really said much. But I got the cast off at Southwick, won Southwick, came back, was doing okay, had the weekend off, went to X Games, broke my foot. Luckily, Alpine Star, actually, I think it was Fox Boots at the time, but they worked pretty good. They kept the foot, a little bone in the foot as well as the talus bone. So again, ankle is now fused. But made it to the end, was able to win the last 7 consecutive races, and took the record from Brock Glover on the youngest person to win an outdoor championship. Sorry, we were just talking about this earlier. And then had the opportunity to race the Motocross of Nations, which growing up under the mentor of Gary Bailey, idolizing David and just that whole era, everyone from Ricky Johnson to Bob Hand. I mean, from the 80s to the 90s, the Motocross of Nations, if you were in the U.S., was what you wanted to do. And I had the chance to go over there and ride with the GOAT. Roger chose me for the team over Steve Lampson and Talon Volan, which he probably shouldn't have done, but he believed in me, and I always appreciated that. and I got to pass Stéphane Rancade on the last lap going down the hill in Saint-Angeli, France, and have 100,000 screaming French fans. I don't know what they're saying, but I don't think it was positive. It's also the moment I got to race Grant Langston for the second time. And we hit each other in every single corner. And okay, I have to go into this. So Grant Langston comes up here in tears. I've never seen the man cry like, you've changed, sir. Where are you? Stand up. There you go, sorry. So Grant was, and I apologize, but he was the cockiest asshole I've ever raced against in my entire life. And maybe one of the greatest competitors I've ever had the privilege and the honor of riding with. I went over again, broken. Hilton Beattie, the FMF team, brought me over at 12 years old to South Africa. They said, this kid, you'll never beat him. Said he is the greatest thing since Greg Albertine coming out of South Africa. And I had a broken thumb, which doesn't really count. So I went over there with a broken thumb, and I wasn't going to race. My mom said, do not race. Go over there and just watch, which we all knew wasn't going to happen. And I cut my cast off. And I was in front of Grant Langston when I re-broke it. But it was a doggone good battle. So go on to Motocross of Nations. He wins the World Championship. I win the U.S. Championship. And we go head-to-head. And it was maybe one of the greatest races of my life. I passed him every downhill, and he slammed me every corner at the bottom. Man, it was amazing. So great racing you. Then 2001 was also one hell of a season. They actually had talking to the AMA. There's a couple of AMA rules that got made because Grant and I would knock each other down before we got to the first turn. I actually got him one time, and we were just barely over the start line. I got his front brake. Anyway, so what I mean by this is this was the greatest moment of my life. It's everything that I ever worked towards. I had the help and support of so many people in this room to get to a level that I never even dreamed of. And at that point, I was the loneliest that I've ever been. I was the most beat up, the most broken. Holidays like Christmas didn't matter. You were at the test track. And I have so much respect for anyone that's made it. But I mean, you know, the Dungeys, the Hawks, anyone that's I can't, Barry, I never even finished a GNCC race. You finished 2 in one day. It's like unbelievable. But racing is hard. Racing takes a lot of people. It takes a huge sacrifice from everybody. And to get to be the best is amazing. And after a few more injuries, I walked into Roger's house with a broken navicular again, which again, that wrist is now fused. And I said, I'm done, I'm retiring. And Roger says, you're 19. And I went from there, and I started a circus because I love riding my motorcycle. I always looked up to Malcolm Smith, to guys that made me excited about getting on a dirt bike, to hang out with my friends, to guys like Guy Cooper, who got passed in the last lap in 3 separate Supercross races and still threw whips over the finish line. Stoked to be riding the dirt bike, who realized that anyone in my family, any one of my friends, heck, I have a friend that I swear, I don't even know if they give out plaques. He got 34th. And there's a 34th place plaque and a little, like a medal from Loretta Lynn's, and I swear he made it himself. But it is still there in his house today. I mean, this man he's got 3 children now, and that plaque it's above everything. So thank you, Rita and all the Coombs family for giving my friend like Chris, an opportunity to show off that they were one of the best in the world. But long story long, started a circus. I get to travel the world riding my motorcycle. And we had to find some skateboarders and some BMXers, and I found someone that supported me. It was actually the only person that, at the time, there was one woman in the world that could do the Gigantic Ramp. And I married her. And I want to thank Lindsay over here for putting up with me for so long and being a part of everything. Thank you for this huge honor, and it's absolutely amazing.
I'm so happy for you. Congratulations. Come sit with me. Let's have a chat. That's for you. So at 19, he's ready to retire. But
It might be called quitting, actually.
Oh, quitting. All right. Well, you said it nicer in your speech. How did it all get started, Trav? Like, what sparked your love of motocross?
So my family had a small construction company, and all my uncles, they worked hard, but they all were off work by the time their kids got off school. So they go. So whenever the sun came up, they'd be going. And my uncle was actually quarterback for Denver Broncos for 2 years. He actually got knocked out by Hightower and Police Academy. There's a rule in the NFL about him as well, because at the time the quarterback was the only one allowed to call timeout, and they missed the playoffs that year because he was unconscious while the time counted up. But it was funny because my family said he's the best athlete that's ever come out of our town, maybe our county, and maybe even the state. And he's still teaching health at a community college, and he's working construction in the summer with my uncles. So they said, any day that you can do what you love to do, ride that train till the wheels fall off. And I was very, very fortunate to have an amazingly supportive family, and to have a passion for motorcycles, because I was the runt of the family. Everyone else was Golden Gloves and boxing, wrestling, lacrosse, football. So I got beat up a lot. I found out I was super durable, and the only way to really hang with them was by twisting a throttle.
Oh, you guys are a bunch of troublemakers, you rule changers. You started racing at the amateur level in 1990. You won 5 titles at the AMA Amateur National Motocross Championship. You won the AMA Motocross Horizon Award. Talk to us about your young journey from amateur to pro racing.
It's all I wanted to do. It's just I wanted to be on my motorcycle. And from the time we started, that was it. It was riding. Like, that's every weekend we'd go and talk about sacrifice. Like, my parents would basically pick me up from school on a Friday, and we'd drive down to Florida from Maryland, which is 12 hours to the border plus whatever distance was to race the best riders. And this was every single weekend. They'd finish work early, pick me up from school, drive me to Florida every weekend during the winter. I'd sleep in the motorhome. They'd drive back, drop me off at school on the way in, and go straight back to work. And then my dad would work on bikes. So I think Roger might have had the Suzuki crew, maybe one of the only fathers that was so happy not to work on a motorcycle. He just stayed in the back with Big Rick drinking beer. And then actually Roger had a good conversation with me in the second year, and he called up and said, hey, because my mom was my agent at the time. He said, Travis, listen, don't talk. I never want to speak to your mom about business again. And I was about to say something. He said, do you understand? Yes. And that was the last time my mom was my agent.
Debbie. Well, was he afraid of her? No.
No, Roger wasn't
not
afraid of anything.
Anybody? No.
I was afraid of my mom. I love her. She's amazing.
Well, Debbie, we often saw her at all of your X Games appearances, and whenever you competed, you always elevated the sport. You were the first rider to ever pull the double backflip in competition, and I can tell you I watched it in person, and you have never been a part of something where the energy just came up in that stadium, in that arena. It was unbelievable. What was it about the X Games that sparked so much creativity and courage for you?
That's a good question. I think the X Games was something that was a lot of fun, and that's something that I gravitated towards. I was that kid, they have an amateur supercross at Budds Creek, and I would go outside the track, lose the race so I could try to hit this triple and got the banners stuck in the tire. I always wanted to do the biggest jumps. Everyone said, oh, I bet you're not going to, can you do Larocco's leap on a 125? And I looked at it and I made the mistake of betting one of the guys $1 that I could do it. And I cracked the frame and blew out the front wheel in practice, and they had to get the whole bike and the engine switched out before the race. So that was just, I liked putting on a show. I liked if someone said you couldn't do it, finding out how. And it was interesting because people always, I was very fortunate to have a lot of people that believed in me, and I wanted to do stuff that was bigger and crazier, and that's, I think, why I gravitated towards showmanship and X Games and that kind of stuff.
It was amazing watching you compete.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Also really amazing, and thanks to you, I had a paycheck for a couple of years. In 2003, you founded Nitro Circus. Has this idea succeeded beyond your wildest dreams?
Yeah, I mean, from the time I was a kid, I wanted to ride a motorcycle, wanted to race a motorcycle, and I was so fortunate that my reality has never really set in, and I've been able to chase my dreams and reinvent, if you will, over and over again. But we started a DVD series, and then, unfortunately, when Evel Knievel passed away, we got a call from Johnny Knoxville, and Knoxville said, "Hey, we're doing a 24-hour takeover of MTV. Can you come up with a few tricks or stunts?" And a couple hours later, I had him like 15 pages of stuff. And he calls me. He's like, "Can you do any of this?" I said, "I don't know. We'll try it all, though." And he said, "Good enough for me." And he got us a show on MTV. And from that point, we started traveling the world. And it's been really awesome because motorcycles have taken me from fun with my friends and my family, and so many of you all in this room that have helped me to get there, to kind of almost the loneliest place in my life, but to accomplish a lot of the goals that I wanted, and then back to where I was as a kid, and reinvigorated by just how much fun it is to ride a dirt bike and to see the smiles on people's faces, and to be able to travel the world and encourage people to get off the iPads and to get on a motorcycle, get on a bicycle, get on a scooter, go live your lives. Your life is a video game, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. One of my favorite Travis Pastrana stories is on our Capital Cities tour. We had just finished our first Sydney show. It was amazing. It was sold out. And as we all got on the buses, we started pulling away to the next stop. And there was a little boy who was about 10 years old that for some reason he just knew that Travis was on this one particular bus, and this kid started just trucking next to the bus as we were pulling away. And Travis stood up from the back of the bus, and he asked the bus driver, "Please stop the bus. Please stop." This is after performing in front of about 25,000 people, putting his heart on the line, putting everything out there. And he got off the bus, and he gave that kid a hug, and he gave him an autograph, and he met with the family, and you got back on. And this is the type of man that Brock Glover was just talking about. I just wanted to share. Everyone deserves to hear that story.
I'm a fan of the sport, and I get a lot of people make fun of me a lot because I'm just a goofball, and I talk really fast, and I have a lot of energy. But most of the time y'all see me, it's because I'm talking about dirt bikes or I'm on a motorcycle, and that passion has led me to being up here, and it's such an honor to be up here with all of you. And thank you so much to so many of you that are in this room that helped make a kid's dream a reality, and a reality of the real world that has still yet to set in. So thank you all.
I know why you call yourself a goofball, but you're authentic and genuine. You've accomplished a number of accolades, and I've always wondered if there was a certain occurrence, whether it was a race or an adventure or a stunt, what made you the most nervous?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. Probably there's a song by Kelsey Ballerina or something like that, and it's called Peter Pan. And I think my wife's biggest fear is that I never grow up. So be careful what you wish for. You just might get it.
So you don't have an answer for that then?
Anything you're not prepared for. Okay. So when I commit to doing something, that my moment of fear is before you commit. Like, dropping in at the X Games to do a big stunt. You already know, jumping out of a plane without a parachute, whatever it might be, you've already committed to doing it. My dad always said, if you say you're going to do something, do it. And I think that's what stuck with me the most. Since one of my heroes, Guy Cooper, growing up, I was 9 or 10 years old. I was probably 10. I had a super mini bike that the FMF crew built for me, and it was like a 115. It was faster than most 250s.
Okay.
And Kevin Windham at the time at Ponca City was the only one doing this jump. It was about 110 feet right before the finish line. And Guy Cooper came over, and I was like, "Guy, I'm going to jump that jump." And he's like, "I'll watch." From that young age, there's my dad brought me up with my parents with two things: just respect, and if you say respect to other people, and if you say you're going to do something, you do it. So it might have been the most scared I ever was when I went around the first lap and realized there was no way I could actually make that jump. And then more scared the second lap of practice when I looked over and saw Guy Cooper watching.
Oh my gosh.
And I held it wide open, and I knew from the time I came out of that corner there was no way on earth I was going to make that jump. And luckily, when I landed, the front suspension fully buckled forward and the tire completely collapsed, and I came to almost a complete stop. I had like 2 black eyes, and I fell over frontwards. And my dad was, who had just probably taken out the second mortgage between him and my mom on the house and borrowed money from all the family to get there. He was not happy. But at the end of the day, that was something that if you say you're going to do something, you do it. And Guy Cooper and I have had a great relationship ever since. So it was totally worth it.
I love that. Well, speaking of that, you've always broken down barriers and borders. I was wondering if there's anything that's been unresolved for you that you're still working on.
Yeah, still working on that 450 Supercross win.
Right.
Just one.
Yep.
No, it's funny though. I looked up to Guy Cooper my whole life, and he had never won a Supercross, and I will never have the opportunity to do that. But I've gotten to go so many places and do so many things, and I'm so happy for the opportunities. And honestly, all the injuries, every time I was injured, I'd have an opportunity to go drive, and that created a passion. That created, I get to race in the Daytona 500 this year.
Cool.
From motorcycles, from just having fun. And I want to thank everyone at the AMA for giving me a chance, like the Bruce Browns and the even Evo Knievel, Jay Leno. Like, these are people that had an influence kind of outside of what you would think of the AMA, and it means so much to me that you would think to honor me here, and it is truly, truly an honor and something that I will remember and appreciate the rest of my life.
And Travis, lastly, what does the future look like for you?
Well, I have 2 young girls that I've always been, flipping and spinning and on everything, and now they're both into cheer. So I'm a cheer dad.
I love that.
I did not know that was where that was going, but no, it's been fun. But for me, we just Nitro Circus got reinvested in by Dana White and Fertitta Brothers and the guys that basically started the UFC, and we're having an opportunity to really kick off with Nitro Circus again, and with Nitro Cross, and to build a race series that's fun. And sorry to take up more of your time, but in NASCAR, I was so frustrated that I couldn't go faster. I couldn't do better. I didn't understand pavement. I didn't understand patience, still. And I didn't understand rear-wheel drive. And I was going across the finish line at Daytona. I actually ended up 10th, not this year, but like 10 years ago. And I was going across backwards after following Tony Stewart the whole race, and he ends up winning. And I'm like, man, another race, and I crashed again. And I was so bummed. And my dad goes, you just got to race. Are you serious? You're racing Daytona. You're battling with Tony Stewart. You went backwards across the grass at 180 miles an hour. I would give my left nut to have that experience. And I thought to myself, I'm like, yeah, like, why did we get in this? And that passion is what we have in Nitro Circus. And that passion is what I wanted to bring to Nitro Cross, where the drivers are maybe 98% scared and 2% excited, or maybe the opposite way around, but they love to drive. We race in the snow, we race on the pavement, everyone kind of has a chance to shine, and it challenges you every single race like motocross does, except without all of the broken bones and so many hours. Like, that's the one thing people don't get. Like, motocross racers, they're like, oh, cool, you got 2 months off. What are you going to do? I'm like, well, I'm going to get surgery. I'm going to go to physical therapy, and I'm going to continue working my butt off. Like, this is the last day before the event.
Yep. Awesome. I appreciate you. Travis, thank you so much for sharing all your amazing stories with us. It has been an absolute honor. And congratulations on your Hall of Fame induction. Ladies and gentlemen, Travis Pastrana. Oh, yeah. We got it.
Sorry. Congratulations. God, your joy, Travis, is so inspiring. I can't believe it.
Infectious.
Pure joy. What an incredible evening.
Oh, Perry, I couldn't have said it better.
Yeah.
This was so wonderful to hear all of these legendary motorcycling stories.
Yep. I'm reminded that the world of motorcycling is not only exhilarating, it's constantly growing and changing and evolving. All our Hall of Famers exemplify those qualities, and it's an honor to recognize and preserve the contributions of these amazing men and women.
We're a community that embraces the past, honors the men and women who have brought us to the present, and races ahead to an exciting future. And we all do it with a zest for life that is second to none.
The accomplishments that we've heard about tonight certainly inspire all of us to be the best that we can be in our own lives. Motorcyclists are members of an extraordinary family, and the members of the Hall of Fame have not only contributed to the growth of that family, they've been instrumental in advancing the business, sport, and lifestyle of motorcycling to the level that we enjoy today.
Wherever we travel in the world, there's an unwritten, unspoken bond that unites all of us as motorcyclists.
So now, would the new inductees of the AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame or their family representatives please come to the stage as we call your names?
We'll begin with the class of 2023. Rita Coombs.
Ryan Dungey.
Barry Hawk.
Grant Langston.
Come on, you guys. Come on up
Come
here.
on up.
Travis Pastrana. Come on up, guys, and join us. We're going to have our photographers take this class photo. Amazing. You guys are so quiet.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
'Cause they're in awe of the people standing on the stage.
Yep. And now let's bring all the Hall of Famers who are in attendance tonight to the stage.
First name, Mona Enos, class of 2009.
Brock Glover, class of 2000.
Roger DeCoster, class of 1999.
Terry Cunningham, class of 2018.
Mark Blackwell, class of 2000.
Steve Moorhead, class of 2004.
Ed Lojack, class of 2017.
Brock Glover.
Yeah, Brock
What are
Glover.
you get on
I don't
up
know.
here.
Did we miss?
Yeah, we called you.
Did we somehow miss you?
No, we called
How
you.
could that be?
No.
My favorite night of the evening, every time, every year. I love this so much. Ladies and gentlemen, the members and families of the AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame.
Man. So don't forget, you're all invited to the cocktail reception, which takes place immediately following this ceremony at the AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame Museum, just a couple of minutes away.
On behalf of everyone at the American Motorcyclist Association and the Hall of Fame, thank you for joining us for this memorable evening. Until we meet again, I'm Perry King.
And I'm Lorette Nickel. Ride safe.